Hello, welcome back. You ready for part 2? Okay, so we get into Doria, and I think everyone knows by now that Doria doesn't really want to be there. It's very obvious. She keeps looking very cagey and looking for cues from, I don't know, off camera. Meghan Markle says that she feels that they targeted her mom because of race, but she doesn't give any proof of that. She doesn't give any context to that. There is only this put together family tree, which shows more about poverty and lack of education than race. And there's no difference between the press and the paparazzi taking pictures of her mother and taking pictures of any other suddenly public figure. Meghan was unknown and they wanted to know more about her family. And so whether black, white, Chinese or Japanese, they would have been trying to get footage of this family that nobody knew about. Nobody knew anything about her. She suddenly became on the center stage and people just wanted to know more. That's it. Okay, anyway, she takes this opportunity to shit on her entire father's family, even though her father paid for her life, paid for her schooling, and paid for her apartment after she finished her schooling while she was trying to get jobs around Hollywood in acting. So we can see that Meghan suffers to some degree from this lack of family. And Harry comes in and says,
and it's the family that I suppose she's never had.
Meghan Markle agrees with that.
It's just like a big family like I always wanted.
One thing they needed to address is the Nats uniform that Harry wore one Halloween or fancy dress or whatever. And instead of really owning it, he deflects and says that Prince Michael of Kent's wife,
the wife of one of the Queen's cousins, Princess Michael of Kent, wore what's called a blackamoor brooch to the Queen's annual Christmas lunch.
Okay, so first of all, nobody cares about Prince Michael of Kent. All he does is run around London asking wealthy people for money. Kind of an exiled member of the royal family that has no way of making money. And also, we have friends in London, Jamaican, people of color, who are wealthy and Prince Michael is very close with and keeps asking for loans from. So that's the tea. Nobody cares about him. Why are you bringing him up? It's only a way to distract you from like the actual anti-Semitic crimes that he committed in wearing that Nats uniform. Which, by the way, for those of you who don't live in the UK, it is really frowned upon to be a Nazi in the UK. It's not acceptable because somebody has earrings on or a brooch on that has a colonial meaning to it. Then, yeah, everything is okay then after that. So I think Netflix should be cancelled just for that. Because we have enough anti-Semitic things happening in media right now. We don't need this. And I personally take offense to the intellectual insult that we cannot see through his deflecting with such a ridiculous member of the royal family like Prince Michael of Kent. You're insulting our intelligence. He goes on to talk about before he met Meghan, he had 10 years in the armed services and he just wants to remind you of that, not the Third Reich, but the actual armed royal army. And that's funny to me because then after he met Meghan, she broke him down and built him back up again, just like they do in the military. I found this very perverted scene funny.
Please tell me get me down. There are now 3 people under your bed.
I'm not kink shaming Harry or anything, but it seems like he's enjoying a little bit too much people going up underneath her dress in this scene, to me. It's kind of like those men who like to see their wives being ... and they just sit in the corner of the room and watch. Like, I feel like he's that kind of man. Oh, and speaking of dresses, she complains about not being able to dress like Catherine in the colors that Catherine wore and that she could only wear muted tones. Those muted colors were in style. Now she's complaining she had to wear those because she had to step back. She has to... She couldn't choose what color she had to wear because Catherine got first choice in the color range. Grown people filmed her talking about this and thought it was good content. Grown adults who went to film school filmed this woman saying this nonsense.
To my understanding, you can't ever wear the same color as Her Majesty if there's a group event. But then you also shouldn't be wearing the same color as one of the other more senior members of the family.
But luckily, a couple days ago, Catherine is seen here with other members of the royal family all wearing burgundy. So doesn't she feel stupid? I mean, just a little bit. For some reason, she puts in this weird part about how she was able to pick and choose who she wanted invited to her wedding. And she was like, you're not invited and you're not invited. And it kind of feels like she's a queen with a wand, you know? Like, I don't know why that was put in there because it just makes her seem like a massive asshole. So I don't know why they put that in there if they're trying to pretend to be victims at this point. But anyway, randomly. Again, my favorite fall locks were this guy comes back and talks about the Commonwealth and somehow links the Commonwealth, I guess, to Meghan because I guess that was her duty when she was in the royal family, and that like she couldn't do the job because every crime, every political race, every terrorist activity and atrocity and everything would somehow be linked to her in that role. What the fuck is he talking about? Did they drug these people before they came on here? It's so crazy. They're just any excuse. Like they could say, well, okay, we were going to do the royal duties, but then like a turtle came with a knife and then a dragon came with a fire torch, and they started fighting and therefore we couldn't actually stay in England. Like this is basically how I'm interpreting this. Like they could come out with that and I'd be like, oh, okay, let me just make notes of that. Okay, yeah, so that's what happened. The gall of her to talk about how she doesn't have a father anymore, I know that has disturbed a lot of people, as it should. Does anyone remember this part of the Oprah Winfrey interview where Meghan says that she lost a baby and she lost her father, and it was so shocking? Goes on for another few minutes until you realize that, no, her father's still alive. She's saying it like he's passed away, but she's actually referring to a relationship end, not his life end. Do you see now why it's difficult for people to believe Meghan Markle when she says things? Her dad has passed away in her mind, and Harry takes on the brunt of guilt for that because he says that, you know, this would not have happened if it wasn't for him. This is so insane. Like, nobody wants to hear this trauma dump because it's not real. So, of course, instead, the racist Prince Charles at the time walks her down the aisle. That's how racist he was. And they end up flexing on us at the end, talking about how 2 billion people watched their wedding, which she has already said that wasn't their real wedding. And she lied on the Archbishop of Canterbury by saying that he married them prior to that wedding, and that wedding was just a sideshow for her. But of course, for the first time ever in history, the Archbishop had to make a statement to say, bitch, you a liar. And brimstone on fire. They immediately put in a snapshot of the Queen's wedding to Prince Philip, and I don't know why. So I shall see you all in volume 2. I love you all so much. Love you.
Hi, Mommy.
Bye.
Let me show Blueberry.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be famous. Look at the camera, Blueberry. Oh.
Let me move the mic.
Can't look at the camera. I'm so scared to look at the camera.
Here we go.
Ooh, yeah, camera shot.
Need a little bow tie. Where's your bow tie? Oh, there it is. Hi.
Yes, we could also do tricks with him if we were walking around the camera with the house, but... Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Ah.